want to try to compact the style light you guys have made. So laid the batteries down horizontal and laid the card down horizontal, which greatly compacted the light. We would have to put put your switches and the different things through, but this acrylic is extremely durable and inexpensive and easy to work with. You can put 2 cards in here, or if you're going to make 1 card with lights on both sides, which would be probably easier. I was going to glue the card at an angle because we wanted to be able to stack it on books and have the light shine down so that you can read. So you could just switch it, one side of the card be lit and light up for reading. And I even thought about putting a handle on it so that you can carry it as a lantern in the dark, and the backside the light wouldn't be shining on you, it would just shine out in front of you. And you could hold it, and or if they wanted to suspend it with something, they could do that.
Waldo, will you show the kids the tool that you showed me and kind of give Jordan just a little bit of background on why we're even having to use this tool, what's going on?
Okay, we're changing the charging port from the lens to the base, so I had to drill a new hole. Well, with this 3D printer, the plastic, it's pretty tough to get the hole smooth so that it'll the charging port will fit in there. So I found a tool out of my toolbox. Has anybody ever seen anything like this?
No. You have to look at it closely because there's a lot of numbers on there.
See the blinks on it? That's called a step drill. And each one of these edges on here is, you can put it in, and if the hole's not quite big enough, you can just turn it and it'll cut it to the next size hole.
That's pretty neat. It's useful.
And it leaves a nice, it won't catch like a regular drill bit, and it'll just cut it out to that next size hole so that that'll fit in there a lot nicer. I should have brought it last week.
That'll help a lot.
You don't have that much trouble getting the charging ports put into the holes. So.
Did anybody try and do the charging port last week? I know I was working on that and it was tough.
It was pretty frustrating.
Yeah, it was pretty
You
frustrating.
can use this on steel,
Okay.
so.
One thing I figured out, also, you can just use,
You ever seen that?
when we were doing our lesson in the classes, we made like custom lessons. And our holes are big enough, and so someone said try to use a soldering iron. So it leaves no spot or anything. It just easily just melts it, and you can put it back. It's really easy.
Okay.
That's all nice, and it leaves it really smooth too.
Nice. So we've got a couple things that we want to get done today. We want to make sure that we can make the charging port holes big enough. So we're going to use Mr. Waldo's tools so we can learn how to do that. We're also going to keep building. We're just going to keep building with our lights. We have one charge that we need to do before that I think it's going to take all of our brain power. Do you want to lead that part? I can type if you want to tell the kiddos what we're thinking.
So in order to get ready for fall, we need to start working on the second version of the board. And what I think we ought to do is communicate with the mechanical and electrical engineer up in Calgary and ask them, give them some specifications so they can begin to work on the design. And I think initially what we need to do is tell them the size of the board that we want to use. This is a pretty good indication, but we need to tell the borders, how deep we're going to go as we set this in the recess here like that. See how it goes down? We probably don't need that much. That's probably 1/8 of an inch. We probably don't need that much. We could probably go with probably 2 millimeters or so around. We have to decide where the connectors are going to be for the wire. We're probably not going to work to put it on the sides.
Maybe,
because the sides go clear to the glass one, put it on the bottom.
like, just have the wire, so it's on the side of the wire to be out.
You mean have it go in the back or the front or
Yeah.
something like that? Yeah, could be in the bottom, somewhere, anyway, you have to decide where to do that. It's probably not gonna work to put them in from the side like that though. So, let's see. So I think we need to start that conversation with them. And in order to do that, I think the vertical component is, we have complete control over that part, right? The horizontal component across like this, we have to limit it to the inside diameter dimensions of the plexi, or the acrylic, right? So we can go up or down, but not wider. But I don't really know how wide that is, so somebody's gonna have to get a ruler, a pretty accurate ruler, and give us something in decimals, in a metric system, for the horizontal dimension and the vertical dimension, and also the border, how much border it needs around it, on the top and the bottom. That makes sense? Because we're gonna put it in. So if somebody wants to do that, then we'll start to work on this letter. So if somebody want to measure?
Let's have maybe, you know what, since there's, let's say, 4 of us, let's have everybody measure and write it down, and then see if we all come up with the same measurements.
Okay, that's probably a good idea.
I'll get a couple of pieces of a sticky and a ruler, and then we can all measure.
The extension for the 1.5 lanterns or 1.3 or whatever there are.
Yes.
The extensions for the base part, did we get those printed?
I did print one, I'll show you, I'll grab it.
And then Ryan, you were working on a inset for the
Yeah.
first version. How's that coming?
I think that's what she's getting now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did it work?
I don't know yet.
Okay, so that would be something you could work on, since
Yeah.
you're the design guy.
If we were gonna do, like, thinking about where we're gonna put wires, could we put them, like, on the middle going down, and maybe a part, like,
You tell them what you want. You look at it, you
right
tell them.
here, could that be, like, be a break there? So, I mean, it still holds it up, but we could put wires in there, and maybe have even, like, 2 minutes left of time or something. Or no?
That could probably work. We may have to add a support or two. Maybe.
Doesn't matter.
I think that one. This version may not need supports. I know the version I printed actually did need supports. Even though most of it was across like this. But we were able to print it without supports, I think. As long as it's not far enough from one side to the other. Yeah.
So if we just give them a physical measurement, how many millimeters you want for a borders, because you don't want to put components so that they interfere with your notch there, right? So you have to make sure that, now this notch is a big, deep notch, that's 1/8 of an inch, that's a big notch.
Which
That's
blocks
right.
one of the, is that block resistors?
Well, see how it interferes with the resistors?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't need that much, but this board is going away. We're gonna start over from scratch. That's something, we tell them what the limits are, and they'll design within those limits. But the basic concept is brilliant, it's awesome. And this size is great, so.
Okay, are we ready to measure? I think we should have Mr. Waldo play too. So you're gonna get a couple things. You're gonna get, we wanna do it in millimeters, because that'll be the most accurate, so you'll find which side the millimeters are. And what things is Mr. Howe looking for? What did he say? What kind of measurements? do you need?
The width of the glass. The, top of it where you connect to the top, how much area we're gonna need where if it can do, notch in there.
Okay. So you're gonna have a few measurements. You are gonna do your own measurements, take the sticky note off, and then pass it to the next person. And then we'll compare them and see if we all have the same measurements or not.
Don't.
Well, then that'll be an issue, right?
And in the meantime, we'll start working on the letter.
Yeah, so if you are measuring, you're measuring. If we're working on the letter, we're working on the letter, and we'll just transition through. So kids, you'll see that we always start with like something that's not business, right? So we'll always start with, hi, how are you? I hope you're well, something like that. Jordan, we work with 2 smart engineers out of Canada who make the boards. They actually came to one of our Engineering Brightness days, and then we get to Skype with them every so often. So they're kind of our super experts when we really get into a crunch, and they're actually going to hopefully mass produce our boards. So that's who Calvin and Nathan are.